Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna.
जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद
हरे कृष्ण हरे कृष्ण
गदाधर
कृष्ण
शिवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद। Hare Krishna, dear devotees. So today is Thursday. It is 10th of July. It is Ashadha Masa or Vamana Masa, Shukla Paksham and Purnimi Tithi. So there are three events today. So the first event is the Guru Purnima, or Vyasa Purnima, appearance day of actually Vyasadeva. And then another event is the disappearance day of Srila Sanatana Goswami. And third event is the first month of Chaturmasya begins from today. So that is fast from green leafy vegetables for 1 month. So like the coriander, for the leaves and the methi and all kinds of leaves. So generally, people who follow this Chaturmasya Vrata, they will first observe the first month, first from the leafy vegetables. Okay, that is about Chaturmasya. So we shall read few lines about the events like the Guru Purnima and disappearance of Sri Sanatana Goswami. So, this is from Chaitanya Charitamrita. So on the western side were the 43rd, 44th and 45th branches, Sri Sanatana, Sri Rupa and Anupama. They were the best of all. Srila Prabhupada discusses Guru Purnima. So from the morning walk. So today Tamara Krishna is asking, it was from a morning walk, July 11th, 1976, New York. Tamara Krishna says, today is the disappearance day of Sanatana Goswami, Prabhupada. Oh, and then Tamara Krishna, it is also Guru Purnima. Prabhupada says today, yes. Is there some special celebration or significance? Prabhupada says, Guru Puja that you are doing daily. And from the Prabhupada's letter to Gaur Sundara, Los Angeles, 2nd August 1969. I am glad to learn that we have performed Guru Purnima ceremony by Kirtana, that is all right. But this Guru Purnima is generally performed by the Mayavadi sects. The idea of Guru Purnima is to offer gratitude to the spiritual master by the disciple once in a year. That is called Guru Purnima. So far as we are concerned, Gaudiya Vaishnavas, we offer all our gratefulness to the spiritual master on his appearance day ceremony called Vyasa Puja. So Kirtana is our daily function. Whatever you have done is all right, but actual worship of the spiritual master will be done by all of my disciples on the 5th day of September, just one day after Janmashtami. So that is about the Vyasa Purnima or Guru Purnima. And about Sanatana Goswami. So this is again Chaitanya Charitamrita, chapter 20. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu instructs Sanatana Goswami in the science of the absolute truth. So chapter summary. The following summary of this chapter is given by Bhaktivinoda Thakura in his Amrita Pravaha Bhashya. When Srila Sanatana Goswami was imprisoned by Nawab Hussain Shah, he received the news from Rupa Goswami that Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu had gone to Madura. Sanatana Goswami thereafter satisfied the superintendent of the jail by sweet solicitations and bribery. After giving the jailer 7,000 gold coins, Sanatana Goswami was released. He then crossed the Ganges and fled. One of his servants, Ishana, followed him carrying 8 gold coins. Sanatana Goswami and his servant then spent the night in a small hotel on the way to Benares. The hotel owner knew that Sanatana Goswami and his servant had 8 gold coins, and he decided to kill them and take the money. Making plans in this way, the hotel owner received them as honorable guests. Sanatana Goswami, however, asked his servant how much money he had, and taking 7 of the gold coins, Sanatana offered them to the hotel owner. Thus, the owner helped them cross the hilly tract and proceed toward Varanasi. On the way, Sanatana Goswami met his brother-in-law, Shrikanta Hajipura, and Shrikanta helped him after he had heard about all Sanatana's troubles. The Sanatana Goswami finally arrived at Varanasi and stood before the door of Chandrasekhara. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu called him in and ordered him to change his dress so that he would look like a gentleman. For his garment, he used an old cloth of Tapani Mishras. Later, he exchanged his valuable blanket for a torn quilt. At this time, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was very pleased with him, and thus Sri Sanatana Goswami received knowledge of the absolute truth from the Lord himself. First, they discussed the constitutional position of the living entities, and Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu explained to Sanatana Goswami how the living entity is one of Lord Krishna's energies. After this, the Lord explained the way of devotional service. While discussing absolute truth, Sri Krishna, the Lord analyzed the Brahman, Paramatma, and Bhagavan, as well as expansions of the Lord called Swayamrupa, Tadyekatma, and Avesha, which are divided into various branches known as Vaibhava and Prabhava. Thus, the Lord described the many forms of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. He also described the incarnations of God within the material world. Incarnations such as the Purushavasaras, Manvantara Gunavataras, and Satyavesha Avataras. The Lord also discussed the divisions of Krishna's different ages, such as Balya and Pauganda, and different pastimes of the different ages. He explained how Krishna attained his permanent form when he reached youth. In this way, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu explained and described everything to Sanatana Goswami. Okay, so there is further information. So I shall share in the WhatsApp group about this Sanatana Goswami. That is from the events perspective. Okay, so for now, we shall move into our daily Srimad Bhagavatam. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudeva. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Hare Krishna. In the Srimad Bhagavatam, so Uddhava is inquiring from Krishna, saying that, "Oh Krishna, so can you please explain the Atma Tattva and also transcendental situation about yourself?" So likewise, he inquired, and the Supreme Lord has spoken to Uddhava. That is, Jnanam Param Swatma Rahaha Prakasham Provacha Kasmai Bhagavan Samagram Apikshamam No Grahanaya Bhattaha Vadanjasa Yad Tarema. So after understanding that knowledge, transcendent knowledge, Yad Vrujinam Tarema, one can cross this material essence very easily, Anjasa, very easily, and also that great knowledge was explained to Uddhava in detail by Krishna. And then after that, Uddhava was instructed by Krishna that he can just go to the Badrikashrama. So, iti avedita hardhaya mahyam sa bhagavan paraha adidesha arvindakshaha atmanaha paramam sitim. So the Lord has spoken that knowledge, atmanaha paramam sitim. And then, so today, further Uddhava is saying to Vidura what has happened after that. After Krishna spoke that knowledge to Uddhava, he has offered his humble obeisances unto the Lord, his lotus feet, and then he took the pradakshina around the Lord, and then he has come to that Yamuna river at the moment. So now Vidura and Uddhava, they are discussing on the Yamuna river, nearer to the banks of Yamuna river. So now Uddhava is feeling that separation after leaving Krishna. So he has come to that Yamuna river. He's staying there. Vidura met Uddhava. Okay, so likewise, Uddhava saying how he has left Krishna and then came to Yamuna River. So we are in the Srimad Bhagavatam, third canto, chapter 4, verse number 20. स एवम् आराधितपादतीदाद् अधीततत्त्वात्मविबोधमार्गः प्रणम्य पादौ परिवृत्य देवम् इहागतोऽहं विरहातुरात्मा स एवम् आराधितपादतीर्थाद् स एवं so myself evam thus aradita so by worshipped padatirthat from the supreme personality of Godhead and adita tattvatma vibodha margah adita and I have studied what it is studied tattvatma that is the self knowledge atma jnanam so the tattvatma vibodha margah that is the understanding the path. This is the transcendental knowledge, that is spiritual path, understanding completely about oneself and also about the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So, Adita Tattvatma Vibodha Margaha. Pranamya Pado Parivritya Devyam Parivritya Devam Pranamya Pado. And then he has offered his humble obeisances, Dandavat Pranam, to his lotus feet. Pranamya, after saluting Padu at his lotus feet, Parivritya Devam, and also circumambulating the Lord. Around the Lord, he has taken we do the pradakshina. When we go to the temples, we do the pradakshina 3 times and then leave. So here, likewise, Uddhava, when he was leaving the Lord, he has done parikrama. Parivritya Devam. Iha agato aham virhaturatma. Iha agato aham. I have come to this place. That place is the Yamuna river banks. Okay. Agataha. I have reached. Aham. I myself. Virhaturatma. Virha is separation. Aturatma. I am aggrieved in the self due to the separation from Krishna. Okay. Likewise, Uddhava is relaying all this message to Vidura. स एवम् आराधितीर्थपादात् अधीततत्त्वात्मविबोधमार्गः प्रणम्य पादौ परिवृत्य देवम् इहागतो अहं विरहातुरात्मा. Set translation. I have studied the path of understanding self-knowledge from my spiritual master, the personality of Godhead, and thus, after circumambulating him, I have come to this place, very much aggrieved due to separation. Purport by Srila Prabhupada, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Okay, it contains 2 paragraphs. Can I request 2 devotees to take turns to read 2 paragraphs each, please? 1 paragraph each, please. Any unallocated devotees, please?
Hare Krishna.
Yes, Mataji.
Sri Uddhava's actual life is the direct symbol of the Chatushloki Bhagavatam. Encapsulated first to Brahmaji by the personality of Godhead. These 4 very great and important verses from the Srimad Bhagavatam are particularly taken out by the Mayavadi speculators who construe a different purport to suit their impersonal view of monism. Here is the proper answer to such unauthorized speculators. The verses of Srimad Bhagavatam are purely theistic science understandable by the postgraduate student of Bhagavad Gita. The unauthorized by speculators are offended at the lotus feet of the Lord Sri Krishna because they distort the purpose of Bhagavad Gita and Srimad Bhagavatam to mislead the public and prepare a direct path to the hell, known as and the Tamisra are confirmed in Bhagavad Gita 16.20. Such envy speculators are without knowledge and are surely condemned life after life. They unnecessarily taken shelter of Sri Pada Sankaracharya, but he was not too drastic as to commit an offense at the lotus feet of Lord Krishna. According to Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Sripada Sankaracharya preached the Mayavadi philosophy for a particular purpose. Such a philosophy was necessary to defeat the Buddhist philosophy of the non-existence of the spirit soul, but it was never meant for perpetual acceptance. It was an emergency. Thus Lord Krishna was accepted by Shankaracharya as the Supreme Personality of Godhead in his commentation on Bhagavad Gita. Since he was a great devotee of Lord Krishna, he did not dare write any commentary on Srimad Bhagavatam because that would have been a direct offense at the lotus feet of the Lord. But later speculators in the name of Mayavada philosophy unnecessarily make their commentary on the Chatusloki Bhagavatam without any bona fide intent. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Mataji. Yes, Saranya Mataji, would you like to read? Yes.
Hare Krishna. The monistic dry speculators have no business in the Srimad Bhagavatam because this particular Vedic literature is forbidden for them by the great author himself. Srila Vyasadeva has definitely forbidden persons engaged in religiosity, economic development, self gratification, and finally salvation from trying to understand Srimad Bhagavatam, which is not meant for them. Bhagavatam 1.2.2. Sribhata Sridhara Swami, the great commentator on Srimad Bhagavatam, has definitely forbidden the salvationist or monist to deal in Srimad Bhagavatam. It is not for them. Yet, such unauthorized persons perversely try to understand Srimad Bhagavatam, and thus they omit offences at the feet of the Lord, which even Sripada Shankaracharya dared not to. Thus, they prepare for their continuation of miserable life. It should be particularly noted herein that Uddhava studied the Chaturshloki Bhagavatam directly from the Lord, who speak them first to Brahmaji, and this time the Lord explained more confidentially the self-knowledge mentioned as the Paramam Sthiti. Upon learning such self-knowledge of love, Uddhava felt very much aggrieved by feeling of separation from the Lord. Unless one is awakened to the stage of Uddhava, everlasting feeling the separation of Lord in transcendental love as exhibited by Lord Chaitanya also, one cannot understand the real import of the four essential verses of Srimad Bhagavatam. One should not indulge in unauthorized act of twisting the meaning and thereby putting himself on the dangerous path of offense.
Hey, Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai.
Jai.
Okay, thank you, Mataji. It's a very nice purport. Prabhupada is describing on the so this is the Uddhava's actual life is the direct symbol of the Chaturshloki Bhagavatam. So this is aham evasam evagre nanyad yad tad param pashadaham idetacha soshi yoshisheta sosmiham. The first shloka. Pratyardham yad pratyeta na pratyeta chatmani yad vidhyadakmano mayam yata bhaso yata tamaha. Second shloka. Third one, yata mahanti bhutani bhuteshu chavacheshu pravistani apravishtani tata teshu natveshvaham. Third shloka. Fourth one, एतवद्य जिज्ञासं तत्विज्ञासनात्मनः अन्वय व्यतिरेकाभ्यं यत् स्यात् सर्वत्र सर्वदा. So the last shloka mentions that once complete research throughout his life, after many lives, it will come and it will end with the coming to the lotus feet of the Lord. Etavadhya jijnasam, after all his research, ends at the lotus feet of Krishna. Aham evasam evagre. I am the only one in the beginning of the creation, during the creation, after annihilation of the creation. Only I exist. So likewise, Krishna says, the Chaturshloki Bhagavata. That is only personal. Here, who is speaking? The God is speaking. Krishna is speaking to Brahma. Krishna is speaking to Uddhava. Speaking means there is a person. Sound is coming means there is a person. It is not that there is impersonal. Nothing would come from the impersonation. So the sound means there is a person speaking. That is the very simple logic. Even any child can understand that one. But people, they will go too much of trying to gain knowledge, and then they will bewilder themselves later on. Okay, so these very great and important verses from Srimad Bhagavatam, particularly taken out of the Maya, the philosophers, speculators who construe a different purport to suit their impersonal view of monism. So monism, in the sense that is, it will bring from materialism to the Brahmabhutaha Prasannatma. That is the just like a neutralizing everything to the Brahma. Of course, after Brahma, there is again variegatedness in the spiritual and transcendental knowledge or the pastimes in different uh, aspects of the Lord's pastimes. So that is the devotees. Devotees go beyond the monism. Monism, it will end there just like with Brahman realization. That's all. And here is the proper answer to such unauthorized speculators. So here, whenever they comment on the Srimad Bhagavatam is the beyond Brahmabhuta, for the beyond the Brahman realization. But that is like a Bhagavan, Brahmeti, Paramatmeti, Bhagavan iti shabjate. When the monists speak on this one, they will bring down the level of Bhagavatam down to the monism. They will try to bring down the level of Bhagavatam. So that's why it is not advised for Mayavadis to take the study of Srimad Bhagavatam. So the verses of Srimad Bhagavatam are purely theistic science, understandable by the postgraduate students of Bhagavad Gita. So Bhagavad Gita, it establishes Krishna as supreme personality of Godhead, and worshipping of Krishna, that is the highest platform. And then further, in different kinds of pastimes, how it is related, everything is embedded in the Srimad Bhagavatam, Krishna's pastimes. That is a postgraduate. And then going further beyond Srimad Bhagavatam, Chaitanya Charitamrita is kind of again advanced studies than the postgraduate. It goes into the very deep pastimes of Krishna and Radha, and intimate pastimes and rasas and mellows in most of the moods, different moods. Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu. Okay, and then further, Prabhupada mentions unauthorized dry speculators are offenders at the lotus feet of the Lord Shri Krishna because they distort the purports of the Bhagavad Gita and Srimad Bhagavatam to mislead the public and prepare direct path to the hell known as Andhata Mishra. So here, one of the shloka Prabhupada number of times quotes, Yenye Aravindaksha Vimukta Maninaha Tvayashtabhavad Abhishuddha Buddhayaha Tvayi Ashtabhavad Abhishuddha Buddhayaha. Due to the impure intelligence, they make mistakes. And even though they are performing so many of austerities in the spiritual path, Aruhya Krutrena Param Padam Tataha Patanti Adaha Anadrita Yushmad Angarayaha. They will fall down from their position because Anadrita, make mistakes, Yushmad Angarayaha, at your lotus feet. Because after so much of spiritual endeavor, they will coming down from their position means it is like going to Andhata Mishra. They prepare a direct path to the hell known as Andhata Mishra. As confirmed in the Bhagavad Gita, such envious speculators are without knowledge and are surely condemned life after life. So likewise, what is the shloka is mentioned here? This is Asirim Yoni Mapanna Muhoda Janmani Mam Aprapya Kaunteya Tato Yanti Adamam Gatim. So here, attaining repeated birth among the species of demoniac life, O son of Kunti, such persons can never approach me. Gradually, they sink down to the most abominable type of existence. Yes, likewise, here Prabhupada is quoting that shloka about who are distorting the purports of Srimad Bhagavatam. So they unnecessarily take the shelter of Sripad Sankaracharya. But so this is the Sharirika Bhashya that Sankaracharya has compiled. But he was not so drastic as to commit an offense at the lotus feet of Lord Krishna. Because Shankaracharya is the devotee of the Lord. So he has concluded that Eko Shastram Devaki Putra Geetam Eko Deva Devaki Putra Eva Eko Mantraha Tasya Namani Yani Karma Apyekam Tasya Devasya Seva. Only one scripture, Krishna's, that Bhagavad Gita. Only one God, that is only Krishna. And only one mantra, that is the names of Lord Krishna. And only one activity, one karma, that is the service to the Krishna. So in such a way, 4 activities as concluding in the Shankaracharya's commentary on Bhagavad Gita. And according to Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Sri Pada Shankaracharya preached the Mayavada philosophy for a particular purpose. So this is such philosophy was necessary to defeat the Buddhist philosophy of the non-existence of the spirit soul. So it was needed as of that point of time, but it was never meant for perpetual acceptance. So this one, because on the instruction of Krishna, Shankaracharya preached Mayavada philosophy. That one also we can see from the Shiva Purana. So here in this one, Lord Shiva says to speaking to this particular shloka, Sripada Shankaracharya has described all Vedic literatures in indirect meanings. One who hears such explanations is ruined. Shankaracharya is not at a fault, for it is under the order of the Supreme Personality of Godhead that he has covered the real purport of the Vedas. So this is the main purpose, because if we see it here, this is Chaitanya Charitamrita Adi Leela, chapter 7, verse number 109, 110. So here in the purport, Prabhupada brings from the Padma Purana. So Lord Shiva says here to Mother Parvati, Mayavadam Athasastram Prachannam Bauddhamuchyate Maiva Kalpitam Devi Kalu Brahmana Rupina Brahmanasya Aparam Rupam Nidgunam Vakshase Maya Sarvaswam Jagatopyasya Mohanardham Kalu Yuge Vedante tu Mahasastre Mayavadam Avaidikam Mayaiva Vakshate Devi Jagatam Nashakaranat. Jagatam Nashakaranat. So here he says, Lord Shiva informed his wife Parvati, is impious or Asasastra is covered Buddhism. My dear Parvati, in Kali Yuga, I assume the form of Brahmana and teach this imagined Mayavada philosophy in order to cheat the atheists. I describe the Supreme Personality of Godhead to be without form and without qualities. Similarly, in explaining Vedanta, I describe the same Mayavada philosophy in order to mislead the entire population toward atheism by denying the personal form of the Lord. In the Shiva Purana, the Supreme Personality of Godhead told Lord Shiva, Dwaparadu yuge bhutva kalaya manushadishu swagamaihi kalpitaihi tvamcha janan mad vimukan kuru. So Krishna is saying to Lord Shiva, in Kali Yuga, mislead the people in general by propounding imaginary meanings for the Vedas to bewilder them. So this is Krishna's instructions to Lord Shiva. Lord Shiva has come in the form of a Brahmana, that is Shankaracharya. So these are the descriptions of the Puranas. And also further, what happens if we hear this Mayavada philosophy? Shrunadevi pravakshami tamasani yatakramam yesham sravanamatrena patityam jnanamapi apardham srutivakyanam darshya loka garhitam karma swarupa tyajyatvam atra cha pratipadhyate sarva karma paribramshan naishkarmyam tatra chochyate Paratma Jivayor Aikyam Mayatra Pratipadhyate. So, my dear wife, hear my explanations of how I have spread ignorance through the Mayavada philosophy. Simply by hearing it, even an advanced scholar will fall down. In this philosophy, which is certainly very inauspicious for people in general, I have misinterpreted the real meaning of the Vedas and recommended that one give up all activities in order to achieve freedom from karma. In this Mayavada philosophy, I have described the Jivatma and Paramatma to be one and the same. How the Mayavada philosophy was condemned by Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and his followers is described in Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita Antilila, 2nd chapter, verses 94 through 99, where Sri Rupa Damodar Goswami says that anyone who is eager to understand the Mayavada philosophy must be considered insane. So this is how Mayavada philosophy was spread by Shankaracharya in that Sampradaya. But actually, Shankaracharya is the devotee of the Lord. He has done according to the will of Krishna. But who are the followers of Shankaracharya? They are ruined. So likewise, as we have seen here, they are ruined. So it was required to defeat the Buddhist philosophy of the non-existence of the spirit soul. So it was never meant for perpetual acceptance. So it was an emergency. Thus, Krishna was accepted by Shankaracharya as the Supreme Personality of Godhead in his commentation on Bhagavad Gita. Since he was a great devotee of Lord Krishna, he did not dare write any commentary on the Srimad Bhagavatam because that would have been a direct offense at the lotus feet of the Lord. This is like a Anadrita Yushmadangrayaha. Anadrita Yushmadangrayaha. So, but later speculators, in the name of Mayavada philosophy, unnecessarily make their commentary on the Chatushloki Bhagavatam without any bona fide intent. So, there is no bona fide intent. And then, Prabhupada further describes here, the monistic dry speculators have no business in the Srimad Bhagavatam because this particular Vedic literature is forbidden for them and by the great author himself. So here it is the Dharma Pronjita Kaitavotar Paramo Nirmatsaranam Satam Vejam Vastavamatra Vastu Chivadam Tapatriyan Mulanam Srimad Bhagavate Mahamunukrite Kimba Parenishwaraha Sadjo Hridya Vrajyatetra Kutibihikit. So likewise, Vyasadeva says in the second shloka of Srimad Bhagavatam, first canto, first chapter, second shloka. So this is Dharma Pronjita. Dharma is the Dharma, the Kama, Moksha. So these are completely kept aside, Projita, rejected. So this is for the Paramhamsas, Nirmatsaranam. There is no material things in the Srimad Bhagavatam. It is Amala Puranam. So Sridhar Swami, the great commentator and the Srimad Bhagavatam has definitely forbidden the salvationists. This is the monists to deal with Srimad Bhagavatam. It is not for them. It is not for them. In the Krishna says, Brahma Bhutaha Prasannatma Nasochiti Nakamchiti Tamas Sarveshu Bhuteshu Mad Bhaktim Labate Param. People who come to the Brahma Bhuta stage and further beyond that, that devotional service happens, pure devotional service. But here, who are stopping at the Brahmabhuta stage, just like getting liberation, for them, the Srimad Bhagavatam is not recommended. It is beyond that. And yet, such unauthorized persons perversely try to understand Srimad Bhagavatam and thus they commit offenses at the feet of the Lord, which even Sripad Shankaracharya dared not to do. It is like a Padantyadaha, another Yushmadangrayaha. They fall down from their position if you make any offenses at Srimad Bhagavatam. Whenever Vyasadeva is compiling all the Puranas, he did not compile Srimad Bhagavatam yet. At the time Narada Muni, before Narada Muni comes, Vyasadeva was contemplating, I have been not satisfying by even the compiled Bharatam and all other Puranas. And then Kimva Bhagavata Dharma na prayena nirupitaha priyaha paramahamsanam taye vihi achyuta priyaha. I did not compile Srimad Bhagavatam, which is very dear to the devotees and the Lord. Is that the reason for my unhappiness? Likewise, Vyasadeva was contemplating. At that time, later on, Narada Muni came and then he stresses that you compile Srimad Bhagavatam because you did not explain anything. and which is not glorifying Krishna and his devotees. That is just like a Vatad Bhayasatidham. It is like a place of crows where they take pleasure in a filthy places. So likewise, this you have to compare Srimad Bhagavatam about the Lord and his devotees. It is Priyaha Paramhamsanam. It is for the Paramhamsas, not for the materialistic people or just the monists. So thus they prepared their continuation of their miserable life. If they can try to comment on this one, on the Srimad Bhagavatam, it is meant for Bhagavatam is the it is the Lord incarnation as the literary form. Lord incarnates in the literary form, that is Srimad Bhagavatam. So the first two cantos are his legs, and then two more cantos, third and fourth, like the thighs. Likewise, all cantos, 12 cantos are the parts of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and 10th canto is the face of the Lord. So that they cannot take, because whenever it is describing about the personality, there is no chance or scope for the impersonalism or the Mayavadis. Okay, so further, it should be particularly noted herein that Uddhava studied the Chatushloki Bhagavatam directly from the Lord, who spoke them first to Brahmani. And then at this time the Lord explained more confidentially the self-knowledge mentioned in the Paramam Sitim, Atmanaha Paramam Sitim. Adidesha Aravindaksha Atmanaha Paramam Sitim, about his transcendental position. And then upon learning such self-knowledge of love, Uddhava felt very much aggrieved by feelings of separation from the Lord. Unless one is awakened to the stage of Uddhava, everlastingly feeling the separation of the Lord in transcendent love, as exhibited by Lord Chaitanya also, one cannot understand the real import of the four essential verses of Srimad Bhagavatam. So this is, there should be a love. Love means there is a reciprocation. There must be at least two people to have to loving exchanges. One is the receiver and one is the giver. So at least two people must be there. And also bhakti also like that. Without such kind of thing, in the monism, if there is, I am the only one, if I think, or everything is of the same quality, where is the enjoyment? So there is no scope for it. That's why patantyadaha, they will fall down from their position. Their kutonyat kalviplutam, when Krishna mentioned that everything apart from the four liberations, matsevaya pritante salokyadi chatustayam. Matsevaya pritante salokyadi chatustayam. Devotees, they serve, they take to the service, devotional service unto me. And Salokyadi Chatustayam, even they do not take the four kinds of liberation. So in such a way, my service is glorious. And without completing service, they do not want to enter into these four liberations. Nechayanti sevya purnaha. Na chayanti sevya purnaha. Kuto anyat kalviplitam. Anything else apart from these four liberations, that is, even the sides also fall down into the category of kutonyat kalviplutam. In due course of time, they will fall down. So that is not permanence for that, because there is no love there. Loving and relations and the different transcendental pastimes. Variegatedness is not there. Variegatedness is the mother of enjoyment. If I am the millionaire, I have got everything, but I don't have anyone to share. What is the use? So that kind of thing. So it is variegatedness should be there. Love should be there. Mellows. That's why there are different rasas we have got. Santa rasa, Dasya rasa, Sakya rasa, and Vashalya rasa, Madhura rasa. These are mellows in the devotional service. So one should not indulge in unauthorized act of twisting the meaning and thereby putting himself on the dangerous path of offense. So likewise, Prabhupada is describing so much of philosophy here. Okay, so but it is Srimad Bhagavatam is meant for the devotees, for the Paramahamsas. Priyaha Paramahamsanam. Tayevihi Achyuta Priyaha. And even it is very direct to the Lord, Srimad Bhagavatam, that Krishna in the four shlokas before he was mentioning that one. It is Yat Suryo Bhagavatam Vadanti, Jnanam Param Man Mahima Avbhasam, Yat Suryo Bhagavatam Vadanti. So my pastimes are called Bhagavatam. So it is for the Priyaha Paramahamsanam, Tayevihi Achyuta Priyaha. For devotees and the Lord, it is very direct. Okay, so here Buddha is mentioning that to Vidura, after I heard from Krishna all this Srimad Bhagavatam, I have offered my obeisances unto his lotus feet and took the parikrama unto him, and then I have come to this place now. Oh Vidura, in a separation, I am now greatly aggrieved. Likewise, Buddha is speaking to Vidura. सैव मारांच पार्दतीधात् अधीत तत्वात्म विबोध मार्गः प्रणम्य पादो परिवृत्य देवं इहागतो अहं विरहातुरात्मा. Likewise, Uddhava saying that is from Srimad Bhagavatam teaching. Srimad Srila Prabhupada's daily letter, as a today letter to Vibhavati, September 23rd, 1970. Yes, I can request any other unallocated devotee to read this letter, please. Asha Mataji, would you like to read?
My dear Vipavati, please accept my blessings. Your letter addressed to His Holiness the President of Gaudiya Math Bazaar is in my hand. Previous to this letter, I received 2 or 3 letters from you, but for want of time, I could not reply them. Don't be agitated by the false propaganda of some rascals. I know you are very simple, ignorant girl, and your mind has been unnecessarily troubled. Be fixed up in your devotional service. Chant Hare Krishna mantra at least 16 rounds on the beach. If you like to come to Calcutta, you are welcome, but there is no necessary. Where is your husband? Who is the rascal who said that you are no longer my official devotee? You are my devotee eternally. Don't be agitated in this way. Await my detailed letter following. In the meantime, Haikreva has written one nice article. The spiritual master, emissary of the Supreme Personal, that will clear out whole situation. You try to read it. I think you and your husband along with your daughter along, where is it? Along with your daughter, should we go back to New Vrindavana and live there peacefully? The spiritual master never claims that he is God, and that is Mayavadi philosophy. But he is offered the same respect because he is very confidential servant of God. This thing has been very nicely explained in the above article, and have patience to read it. Our preaching work in India is going on nicely. We have got already 2 places preaching centers in Calcutta, and daily Sankirtan party is going in important marketplaces. So do not be agitated. You have got all my blessings. Be peaceful and chant Hare Krishna. Your ever well wisher, A.C. Bhakti Vedanta Swami. Swami Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
Thank you, Mataji. Any points Mataji wanted to add in from this letter?
In this letter, Srila Prabhupada said he mentioning about false propaganda. So he said some rascals are uh, uh, telling about false propaganda. He said not to fall into that. So he said to the Mataji that she is very simple, um, but don't get into false propaganda, that false information. And his mainly said to her that she has to fill her mind in devotional service and chanting the Hare Krishna Mahamantra in the beats. So someone has said to the Mataji that she is not the proper devotee or official devotee. So Srila Prabhupada was a little bit upset. He said, "No, you are my proper devotee. So don't listen to any other rascals." And he also mentioned about High Kriva Prabhu, about his article about the spiritual master. So the Srila Prabhupada asked her to read it, and also he telling Mataji to go back to New Vrindavana with her husband and her daughter, so they can live peacefully and spread the Krishna consciousness in there. So the spiritual master never be the god, but he is very important, crucial person because he is the one connect the god with the devotee. And Srila Prabhupada asking her to read it again, and he said he mentioned that preaching work in India is going nicely. Not only preaching work, the Sankirtana Yajna also going very well in Kolkata and especially in marketplaces. So finally, Srila Prabhupada giving his fully blessings to her to carry on preaching Krishna consciousness. That's all I can understand from.
Hare Krishna. Thank you so much, Mataji, for kindly sharing these reflections from this letter. Okay, any other comments, dear devotees, you wanted to add? Okay, so that is from Srila Prabhupada's letter. So the point says like only spiritual master and disciple know the relationship, whether he or she is a eternal disciple or not. Okay, so Prabhupada is mentioning, so we do not have to worry about any other people commenting on this kind of relationships. Okay, another thing is the spiritual master is representative of the Lord. So that is described in the emissary of the Supreme Persona in the spiritual master in an article that Hayagriva Prabhu has published in the magazines, it seems. Okay, so that is one more point to take from here. And Prabhupada here also again mentioning about Maya, the philosophy, just we have gone through in the purport. So here, spiritual master is just only confidential servant of God. He is not with one God. However, we respect spiritual master same as Krishna because he is confidential servant of God. So another point, Prabhupada is sharing the information about the preaching. Okay, that is from Srila Prabhupada's letter, and constantly chant Hare Krishna Mahamantra, follow the regulative principles. So that is important on top of everything. Do not be agitated. Okay, that is from Srila Prabhupada's letter. And from the announcements point of view, so today evening we have got a Krishna Katha at 8 p.m. So which is describing the narration of King Durga. Okay, so that is at 8 p.m. And the devotees, if you have got any other updates or you wanted to share anything on Krishna consciousness, kindly share. Hare Krishna. Okay, if no updates, then we shall conclude and continue with further japa. Vanchakalpatarubhyasya kripa sindhubhya eva cha paritānaṁ pāvanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha.
अनंत कोटि वैष्णव की जय।
Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Hare Krishna, conscious day everyone. Hare Krishna. Jai Shri Krishna.